Okay, we are live. Welcome to Funderground Games. Hoping that everything works. We'll find out later, won't we? Okay, so gotta be honest, not a lot of this for the week. Other than the fact that obviously there's a dog in the neighborhood. The only big thing that I felt was worth mentioning was that HeroScape got, after being shelved by Hasbro, is now part of Renegade Game Studios, part of their library. Hasbro cut a deal with them, so we're going to get to see HeroScape again. I like Renegade Game Studios. They make two games that I get everything for, which is the Transformers and G.I. Joe deck builders. And if you're a fan, there is a new Transformers expansion out this week. Aside from that, there wasn't a whole lot going on for the news, which means we can jump right into it, right? So here we go. This week, our first one is Roll on the Range. Now, okay, so let's take a look at the thing we're going to take a look at this week on Kickstarters is the About Us section. Okay, so real quick, these guys did a great job with this. It is all the way down here. Here we go. That's it. Clean, to the point, not a giant story, because really the story is about their game, right? So let's take a look at this game. Now, Roll on the Range is a roll and draw game. Okay, there's a couple things I like. First of all, this graphic up here, graphic design is very nice. The actual game, there it is. That's it. It's that and dice. I mean, and obviously a pencil, I guess. Okay, so dice, pencil, and this. There is a lot of tough choices to make in this game. So you roll the two dice, you roll several dice, and then there's cards for each of the types of actions that you can take, which is really just the individual types of animals, and then there's a county fair. And you basically go through the game choosing where to put your animals. Okay, and there's a fence action. So as you can see, if you roll the dice here, so if you took this 4 pig, that means that in the 4 column, you'd have to place a pig. I also like the fact that you have to draw your little animals, which I'm sure can turn into a game delaying tactic. I know I would start getting really weird with the animals. So you score by how many, okay, so there's a bunch of different scoring options. I really don't need to break this whole thing down. These guys actually have their rules up. You have special goals, and then you have like the main goals that are on the board, where you will earn points based on how many animals you have penned off, how many pens you have, sort of like how in Welcome to, if you had a block of 2 houses and then 2 blocks of 3 houses, things like that. What's really great about the game is, as you play it, if there's nothing available to you, if you don't want to take any of the actions, or you physically can't, like I said with the 4 with the pig, if you already have a pig in the 4 column and nothing else available, well then you're hosed. Except this game has a nice mitigation that if you can't do anything, you can opt to take a coin, and then you use the coins to purchase all of these things down here, and every one of these things can change the game. And then over here you have the total amount of animals, and then once one of these is filled up, it's like it starts a game-ending trigger. And then going to the fair, when you fill these up, some of these sections have a little bottle under them. Let's see if they show the little baby bottle. Yeah, so in here, this is like a little baby bottle, these things. So if you fill in the fair and get that gives you a free animal of your choice that you can put in there. Pretty straightforward. It has all the things I like, that it's simple, you can pick it up quickly, and it gives you a lot of choices that are difficult without being I mean, you're not going to agonize. It's just you realize, oh, this is all, I can't, this is the only thing that's available. Oh, no. So right now, these guys are sitting at 2,700. We could probably get that up. 442 people behind this. That's pretty solid. I should also mention, okay, let me come off of the screen for you. This is something I should have pointed out as soon as we started. I was unavailable last week, and I thought maybe I should just not do this week's and just start fresh in the second week of June. But then I realized that's doing a disservice to anybody who's launched something. Not that my channel is really making an impact on anybody at this point, but, if it could, I would want it to. So there's going to be a lot of content this week because I'm going to do 2 of these. I'm also adding in a couple. This is where my buddy Darren, who explicitly asked me not to mention him in the opening. So, oops. Me talking about production is not his favorite thing. But so we're going to be doing 2 of our crowdfunding live streams. Then I'm going to be putting up the segments in chunks as regular videos in case you don't want to watch the whole thing, which I understand. You may not want to sit here for, hour, 2 hours waiting to see what's happening. Totally understand that and trying to help you guys out with that. So things are going to be a little different this week. All right, so going back to Rolling the Range, let me get my chunk head out of there. So they're at 2,700, 442. I think they're doing really well, but they could do a lot better, right? So let's help them out, guys. All right, next up, we have 1978, The Night They Came Home, which is just as creepy as it sounds. If I could ever throw back. There we are. Okay, so this is a fantastic idea. This is a print and play if you want, or you can purchase it. But what's really cool is it uses a standard deck of cards in order to make actions happen. It's a horror story. It's sort of like a D&D-esque type of game. What I find most interesting is that you can you'll create a hunted and a haunted is the phrase they use. So your serial killer is chasing a character. Well, they have this set up that you can have this take place over many episodes or many decades, a la Halloween. As you can see, there's a definite Halloween vibe going on in here. Really neat concept. There's a solo version of it that I mean, obviously, even when you're playing with multiplayer, you're creating the scenarios. You're telling the story based on the outcome. So you'd be doing the same thing solo. I just think in the solo, it's going to take a lot more imagination and creative storytelling, but I think it would be useful if you were trying to come up with stories that maybe you want to use elsewhere. And this would be a great device for crafting your own stories in this kind of milieu, if you will. Not a lot here, but that's fine. I mean, look, the pledge reward is $5 for support. I'm sorry, for support. It's $20. You get the whole thing, everything you need right there. With my head in the way, I always do that. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I can't. There we go. So, right there, I think this is an interesting concept. Let's take a look at how they place their team. Here we go. Look at this. Down at the bottom where it should be. Get a little of their custom art for them. Got some data that you can follow to connect to them. This is a great presentation of the About Us section. I think this is a really good job. I will say the theme is not up my alley just because my horror stuff, I tend to prefer it to be told to me as opposed to me creating the story. But I know that I'm in the minority there in the horror camp, I'm sure. I know there's plenty of people that would love to tell their own stories in a space like this. So here we are. They're at just under 10 grand, 221 people. Let's get them some more love, guys. All right, next up, we have Naughty or Nice. Okay. This is a reprint. I should say reprint, a relaunch. So Naughty or Nice, they decided to come back with a better approach. And I got to say, I love this thing. To be fair, I kind of have a soft spot for Christmas anything. So, and hey, Christmas with, what is this? I'm not going to remember it. The creature that knocks on your door and you have to, what do you have? Do you have to tell it a story or sing a song? I can't remember what it was, but yeah, so they have a lot of basic American Christmas elements, but they also incorporate how other cultures represent their Christmas. So they have Saint Nicholas, they have Krampus, but essentially the game is it's a set collection game, so Rummy-esque. So you get let me get to a screen here that'll help you. Maybe I won't. I was hoping for a tabletop screen. See, I watched a video on this, so I didn't see it. So basically, you get presents, you draw for your hand, and then there'll be these little kiddo cards, and they need certain kinds of presents. And those certain types are really just color-based. So there's, red here is a hat, but red can also be other things, which matters because your character has certain abilities. And I saw that one of them was you get points every time you give someone a red hat. So you can give red presents, but if you specifically give a red hat, you get points with them. And so it's really just sort of a points tracker for a Rummy set collection event. But with external elements, you can bring in, let me check my notes here. Oh, yes. So sometimes you can collect some of the external people like elves and fairies and whatnot, and you can put them to use. And some of them have a take that kind of aspect to them, which is not my favorite thing, I'll be honest. But, it broadens the options for play. The only complaint, I don't want to say it's a complaint, but my only comment here, you can't really see it. The only thing is, I think this is actually it over here. They have a board that you track your current points on, and it just kind of seems superfluous. It's like this big board in the way, and all you're doing is tracking your points. We could just eliminate that, save some table space, and just have a linear tracker for your individual points. I think that would be simpler, but I get that they're making it, trying to give it a theme and put more of the theme present on the table. I do like that the way you make your set collection is when you give those kids what they want, the kids have a little colored dot in the corner that indicates what suit they are, and then when you get enough of them, then that's a set that you collect. I like the idea that you're a version of Santa Claus that is out there winning over the kids by getting them the things that they want for Christmas. It's just fun. And it's Christmassy. Come on, I love Christmas. All right. Next up, we have the Mad Alchemist. And let me see if I have my notes here for you. All right, so it's real simple. They created 3 dungeons, and it's $3. I don't need to do a hard sell here for you. I mean, it is what it is. It's 5th edition compatible. What I thought was neat was that they had, everything was already laid out. You have actual dungeons, but they have 2 things I thought were really interesting. Okay, first of all, they have, according to them, they have a new version of the Mimic. So in this, the Mimic isn't just going to be a trunk, which I think that's interesting. I would love to see what that actually is. Secondly, there's a pledge level here that will allow you, it's like $34, again, fat head, no fat head. Here we go. Where is it? Boom. It's at the bottom. Of course it is. Here it is. Confront the Mad, $33. Confront the Mad Alchemist. This is, you get to play one of the maps over virtual tabletop with one of the creators. I mean, that is literally a no-brainer for $33 if you really have an interest in this. I really don't know what to say. I think that's fantastic. If anything, I think that it should cost more, and I think that they should have more slots for it, because I think they only have, what is it? Yeah, they're only going to let 5 people. They should have like 20 or 30 of these things, spread them out over the year, and it should be like $50. Not that I'm saying, sorry, I know we don't want to spend more money, but I would gladly pay $50 if I was interested in something like this, to play with the people who actually made the game and talk to them about it. That would be incredible. Okay, so it's easy. It's $3 just to do it. So for $3 you get wow. You think I'd be a little more together today? I'm so tired. Okay, so at the 3, you get all 3 dungeons, a printer-friendly PDF version, and with the stretch goals. Now, the $5 level is where I really think it sings, because that's where you get the color version. And I don't know. I mean, it's up to, there it is. So there's the Mimic. They're saying, hey, it doesn't have to be a chest. It could be something else. I like that. So here's the $3 pledge. And then here's the $5 pledge. I mean, come on. For an extra $2, I mean, I know it's a PDF and you got to print it yourself, but still, like, that is a lot of value for $2 to have a color, and so you got a low ink version, and then you got a full color version if you want to use it. I think that's great. So let's move on. Our next one up is Tussle for Victory. And this is, I'm just going to say it, this one's a little unusual. Okay, so I can't believe that we have another racing campaign that I'm bringing to you guys, but this one is unique for a couple of reasons. Okay, so the basic concept is you draw your own racetrack, and then on that paper, so it has to be within a certain scale, and then on that paper you use, draw your own. Let me get down to, this is, okay, so I'll get to the other part, since we're getting inundated with the final thing that I think is really unique. So this is you get the game, and then you get STL files to print your racers. And these racers, I mean, if you can do that, that'd be great. But even if you just want to, you could do a token representation of them. But what is great is every racer has abilities and a strength and a defense. And I love these designs. These are so funny. So, Dresmo Drag. Okay. There's another. Okay, where's the one? Okay, I love this guy, Little Cthulhu, Babin. Little Cthulhu, who's just apparently just floating. That's how he gets there. And then we got a mermaid in a motorized bathtub. Come on, that is clever and creative. Aquimara. Then we got the knight on a rocking horse, right? So all of them are of this ilk, and there are so many. throw here. Does it state? I don't know where it states it, but I'm telling you, it's easily over 25 of these little dudes. Okay. As you can see, it just keeps going. Look at this. We got 2 dwarves and I don't want to say the wrong thing. There's so many. I don't know anything about construction equipment. I'm sorry. It's not, I feel it on the tip of my tongue. What do we got here? Mimic car. Oh, here we go. Mimic right back in. What car are you talking about? Nice. Okay. Please. Okay, I'm just going to have to grab and pull. I will say, okay, this would be my one complaint about this Kickstarter is this is too much of these. I love them. They're adorable. This is great. You get a nice feel for their sense of humor and whatnot. That's great. But this is too much page to go through to get to the actual game. That is the one problem I have with this Kickstarter. Now, so these are the some of the guides, but they had a better representation further down, I believe. And again, this is as you can see, it just keeps going. This is not a good call, guys. You're making it really hard for people to understand what you're doing, and this is actually a really cool idea. It shouldn't be this hard to find it. And apparently, it was in their rule book. So the way it works is it's basically X-Wing. It's like X-Wing miniatures on the board. So you have straights, curves, hard turns, and about faces. And so you have to, and then as you can see on the front and back, you have little guides, just like in X-Wing miniatures. So you lock that in, place the you want to, so, and you know your speed by the gear you're in, and you can change your gear each turn. And so if you're in 3rd gear, then you have to take the 3 turn, put it in, lock it into the front of those 2 tines there, and then pick your little racer up and put it at the front, and then slot the rear tines into the end of that maneuver. And so depending on the race track you've designed, you could go careening into a wall, or you could swing right past someone. See, this is some crazy dodge thing that you can do. And here's your the different gears up to 5, and then neutral. Obviously, you're not going anywhere. And then you spin these dreidel-esque things in order to determine if you like collisions and negative outcomes or attacks. And I mean, that's really just it. I mean, the big draw here. Well, actually, there's a bunch of things that are a good draw here. One, you get to design your own track. I mean, that may not be your thing, but I can't imagine it would be hard to do or to download a design off of the web. And then, or just like set up weird little obstacles on your table and do this. And all you really need to print out, I would say, would probably be the guides, though I'm sure you could get print out a paper version of it. That'll work just as well. Just get some stiff paper, and then you're off to literally the races. You get your little guys, and also you play with 2 characters. You when you race, you have 2, so it's a team. So it's like this combat racing flight sim, essentially. I think it's a really neat idea. I've never seen anything like that. I think it's pretty cool. So, but let me get us back up here. Where are they? So, big head. 3,800, 113 people. I am confident that we can do better than that for them. So let's give it a shot, guys. And let me just make sure I'm on the right one. Okay, so next up, we have Silicone Battlemats, which I know it's not a game. It's an accessory. But I got to tell you, I love these things. Okay, real quick though, I do need to point out that we're kind of dialing in here on some rules for being a Funderdog, and a goal of 50 is kind of at the upper limit of what we would consider a reasonable Funderdog. Like at that point, you're leaning into the max selects and super funded zone. It's not a big deal. Just trying to point out that we're learning as we go here as well. But that's a pretty high minimum. However, they are including shipping in this, if you can believe it, which is fantastic. But also, these things are great. AJ Pickett here, watched the video. He's got a really nice sense of humor, and this is it. You get your choice of 3 colors. You can get single-sided, which will be square. You can get dual-sided, which the back of it will have hexes. They're all 1 inch. There's different sizes total, like overall width and length, and they're made of silicone, so you can draw on them like you see up here with dry erase markers to create things. And because of silicone, you can, as they really like to point out here repeatedly, it's in the video, you can cook with these things. They're basically baking sheets, just designed for gaming, which I think that would be very funny if everybody were to come over and you were to bring out a sheet of cookies, put the cookies out on a plate, and then go ahead and play a game on the mat. That would be quite the talking piece, I would say. But yeah, I think these are great, and the price is reasonable. It's about $34 here, and you get that's with shipping. I just can't believe that. And a big thick silicone mat, like you could, even if you end up not using it for this, you can end up using it in your kitchen. There's actually some comments in there from people stating that they had to buy extras because some significant others took these and turned them into a go-to item in their kitchen, which is very funny to me. All right, next up, we have 20 bounties and most wanted. Okay, so this is an add-on. I just thought this was really cool that these are bounties that you can just add to any one of your games. What I liked was they have this a great amount of detail, some good design, great art, and these are like, I don't know, this has always been one of my favorite parts of any kind of video game or a board game. Just those one-off, like, hey, let's go take down this like really notorious individual, right, and get some special reward for that, and then continue on. I love that kind of thing. I love that addition. They have you can print out tokens because they have the art form, which is really nice. But here's the thing that I really, really like: the wanted posters. I think those are great. I really do. And then for $3, you get the PDF and for all the content basically, and then the ability. Oh, sorry, right there. You get all of the information on the bounties as well as the images that you can use to make the minis. That's great. $3. Come on, $3. It's no big deal, right? I don't know why I keep finding these things and loving them so much, but this is just what's happening, folks. So, right now they are, they're only at 280, 58 people. Come on, I feel like this is a no-brainer, just a little addition, just something you could have in your back pocket to spice up a night. Toss in a little extra for your players. Seems really cool to me. All right, next up we have Ocean Pods. Now we're back into gaming territory. Okay, so first off, I love the art. I think it's beautiful. I like the watercolor nature of this. It has it's like set collection with dice in an interesting way. But the one thing that is thematically appropriate is, I'll show you right here, is there's like this pollution counter that impedes your ability to do things, and the only way to eliminate it generates a pollution counter, and the only way to get rid of the pollution counter is for somebody to essentially give up their turn to remove it. And from what I could see in the rules, there's no benefit to the person who does that. Everybody else benefits by you removing that, so then they can continue playing. But since this is a competitive game, there's no incentive to do that. And while I get that this is just thematically on point, right? There's no immediate benefit to anybody cleaning up the ocean or doing the, cleaning up trash or finding a better way to eliminate it. There's no off the cuff direct benefit to doing that. There's only secondary benefits, and this is why it isn't happening. That's why it's easier to just pollute and keep doing what you're doing. So it's a really in-your-face way of demonstrating that. I'm not sure how I feel about it as a game mechanic. However, I still think it's a really neat idea. I love the game itself plays out in a really fun way with you using dice to collect the stuff that these animals would eat in order to, so krill, crustaceans, pinnipeds, cephalopods, and fish, you see, and then you gotta collect those. So you get those cards, and then you can collect that particular creature. It plays out like, it makes a lot of sense. There's a pretty heavy RNG factor, but I would definitely pick this up. It would be fantastic in a classroom. It'd be great for playing with a kid, give them kind of a clear, a straightforward understanding of some of the issues with pollution and ocean life. So that's why it's in here. I think it's got a lot of good things that it does, and it has a purpose, and I think that's a great idea. It has 135 backers. It's already cleared, but like I said, 135 people, that's not a lot. I gotta believe there's, at least 100 more classrooms that could use this. So any teachers out there, jump in on this. All right. So next up, we have the party mix, which I pressed the wrong button, and we're still in the games. What I like about it's a trivia game. Look, I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't really already know. But what I liked was the questions are very tongue-in-cheek. So here we go. What is a spider most likely to do when it comes into contact with humans? A, bite. B, build a web. C, die. D, run off to its shelter and clean itself of germs. I'm pretty sure the answer is actually D, only because I think I saw that in school somewhere. So this game has like a limited shelf life in the sense that there's 100 questions. You're going to eventually know them all. But it can start a lot of conversations. Even if you don't want to play it as a game, you could use it. I know I lean a lot on the kid thing, but this would be a great thing to, pull out a couple of these and, do a quick 10-question quiz with a kid, and it could start an interesting conversation about something like, seriously, do spiders run off? And then you go look that up and, maybe learn a little bit more about arachnids. That'd be neat. So I think, the design is great. It is a really good graphic design. I keep doing this. Here we go. And yeah. So here we go. $25. See, there's still early birds left. I can't believe that. Look, it's $25. there. If you don't get that, it's $29. It's a bunch of facts. It's a bunch of facts that a kid would love to learn, and you could, and it could be a fun game, for a pizza night. Do that, before the big reward for the evening. I don't know. I think it's great. They need a little love. There's only 25 backers. Come on, folks. Again, low cost, great idea. Oh, let's check out their about themselves. So, who are the creators? Here we go. Ooh, that's pretty high up. I'm looking over here on the side there. We're pretty high up the thing. Let's take a look. What's going on below that? Yeah, it's a little high up for the About Us. Talking about yourself before all the other things that you're going to do for us. Again, this is just my perspective, but I'm a big fan of going right to the bottom above the risks and challenges, because that lets me scroll all the way down, because usually you can just hit risks and then just scroll up a little, and there it is, to learn about who's making this, get an idea of them. Because in the end of the day, this is really, you're making the games for people, not for yourself, I guess, is the approach that I take, or at least I took when I started Kickstarters that completely failed. So maybe don't listen to me. Anyway, but they did do a nice job with their description. I love when somebody uses their own art to paint a picture of themselves on these campaigns, and they're very off the cuff and what should I say, non-pretentious with their description of themselves and what they're doing. They're just like, hey, it's us. I like that. And hey, if you got some kids, this would be a great thing. So maybe try it. Next up, we have Overlooked Creatures of the Backwoods. And again, we're in supplement zone. So, this is a little over 10 creatures that you can bring into one of your games. What I really liked is there is a ton of information about each one of these things. It's a nice little illustration. They have a little joke, a little thing about what happens on when one of these creatures rolls a nat 1, or when you roll a nat 1 during an attack. And hey, you can get it from DriveThruRPG. So basically, I believe it's as soon as this thing is over, you get a voucher. Yeah. Oh yeah. So here's the at the $20 pledge, you can make one of your own and submit it, and it'll be included. That's pretty cool. But yeah, so you just get straight up a PDF fulfilled by DriveThruRPG. It does not get any simpler than that. And DriveThruRPG, they do a really good job. I have used them repeatedly. And what are we looking at here for minus the fat head? We are sitting at 131. Come on, guys. We can do better. I mean, he's already reached his goal, but he put some work into this. Let's get this rolling for this individual. All right. That was our final Funderdog, and we are now moving into a new thing. A different situation. We're moving into the Funderground Pick of the Week. The difference this week is that there are two. And the first one up, let's see if I can do it right, is Chroma Mix. And for Chroma Mix, we're going to be jumping into GameFound. Not a lot on GameFound this week. In fact, this week, there's several things, but there wasn't a lot for me in GameFound this week. But this, wow. This felt like a find. I love this game. Absolutely love it. It's a deck builder with several winning conditions, which are wildly different. And you take... so there's a... I want to see if they have a... Because again, I read the rules on these things. I read the rules on everything I put on this show. That is a lot of rule books that I read. But that's the thing. I'm not going to recommend something that I don't think I would play. So that's the way it works. So they don't have it. But essentially, the layout is two rows of, let's see, there are 5 or 6 cards, and those are level 2 and 3, which means they require other colors to combine with them. There's a generic pile of 3 cards. And they, right here, soft cyan, light yellow, and pale magenta. So these represent a single drop of that color. And so in order to make a level 2 color like coral, you need a pale magenta and a light yellow. So on your turn, you can combine 2 cards once. You do that, and then you get a coral. Now, every card can potentially have an additional action that happens immediately, or it can have an ongoing action when it's laid out. So you would have to first lay out the one of the cards. So you can combine a card from your hand and a card on the that you've laid. So if you had the light yellow in your hand and the pale magenta, you can still combine them. And then you draw the coral, and then when you lay the coral has an immediate effect that gives you I think it adds a soft cyan. You get to pick up a pale magenta, but it also has an ongoing effect that you can wait. I don't remember what the specific one was for the. Maybe they'll come on. Tell me there's a picture. You know what? We're gonna go crazy. Because seriously, I love this game. So every card from the upper levels can have potentially an ongoing effect or an immediate effect. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to get to the very top, the level 4. But the problem with... There we go. The problem with creating the higher tier colors is you need more drops of color per card. So... This is a really bad connection on this one. So there was coral. Wow, this is really bogging down. Come on, baby. Give it. I just want to go up a little. There we go. So here's coral. Get my fat head out. So every immediately you get to grab the cyan. I can't remember. See, this is the only problem with the game is it's very visual, so it's difficult to tell. I think maybe this lets you mix from your hand, or you can mix with extra. Stay with me, folks. I promise you this matters. Okay, so as I was saying, the problem with the problem with the later cards is you need multiple colors. So what you have to do is you have to build a lower color that has 2 drops in it, and then you can take those and build the other ones. Now, you can't overpay for a card. So you have to pay exactly it, because if you put 3 drops of something, then it's 3 drops of that. And also one of the other factors is it takes a lot of the lower level that are single drops of color to build to the higher ones. But then if you can use the coral to bring out a raspberry color, the raspberry color lets you mix with more than one card. So that's it's almost game breaking. You get to, so you could take 2 magentas and a cyan and then get a much more advanced card. The downside being is you're limited to the number of cards that you can draw every turn. But then, with all the bonuses that you get, and there's some cards that let you every time you draw refill, you draw more, you get to draw an extra card. So like there's a lot of strategy going on in here, and it's gorgeous. Seriously. I love the art. I'm scrolling on the wrong thing. I'm over here scrolling on the upstairs. I got two mice running. I love this kind of rough, off of a paintboard design. Like it really looks like this was, someone was actually at a print shop creating these, and these are just like rough stencils for t-shirts and whatnot. It's gorgeous. And I'm having some serious issues. Technology. I think my battery's dying. That's something I need to have happen in the middle of this. So anyway, the only thing about this is actually right here. I think that they set their stretch goal breakpoints a little high for what they're trying to do. It would have been nice to get these things in earlier, but it's unfortunate that it's only at 1900, because I love this thing. I'm gonna back this. It's beautiful. I love the hard choices that need to be made. I love the design. It's $17. Sure, with shipping it'll probably be $25. So what? Oh, look at these images. And like I said, it's this race to try and get to one of the several winning conditions, and every one of these cards has additional functions that can completely change your strategy. I really think that this is a fantastic game, and I really, really hope that they get a lot more. And that's why this is one of the pick of the week choices. So, let's go to the second one. Oh man, I did it again. Oh, Scheißen. Oh, I'm the worst. I'm never going to get this right. So I just realized that, like right down there, I didn't have Chroma Mix up the whole time. I don't know why that always happens at the pick of the week. I don't know what my issue is down there. Every week I have some kind of brain fart that prevents me from making that transition. I'll figure it out, I promise. Maybe I'll make a short for that. Anyway, so sorry, Chroma Mix. But I was so effusive. I hope that makes up for it. So, this is Roleplay Relay. What a crazy concept. These people are going to play a game of D&D for 24 hours a day for a week straight. It's going to be in 2 shifts a day, with a GM and a set of players, and then they will hand off the characters from that game to the night shift, and they will continue. Even if it wasn't 24 hours, even if it was 12 hours a day for 7 days, that would be crazy. But they're doing it, and they're at 2,600, 48 backers, 3 weeks to go. So they're going to make this happen. It's already underway. Now, that's it. I really don't need to show you any of this. But they're going to live stream it. So, send them a couple bucks to make it happen. They have a bunch of breakpoints where you can get different rewards. Behind the scenes, you get Snapchat access and character art, backer credit. At the 36, you get to name an NPC. Like, there's a lot of tiers that give you different things. Go ahead, jump in there, get something, because this is crazy. There's the the chaos agent in me so desperately wants to back this at a certain level so that I can have some behind the scenes, because I want to watch these people unravel on day 4 or 5. Not because they're going to have a great time, but I just know from personal experience working on live productions that there's a point where everything pisses you off, and I want to see when that breaking point hits for these guys. It'll be a part of the show. It'll be fantastic. They sound like wonderful people, so I'm sure they will find a way to fold it into the story. It'll be great, but I want to watch this happen. I also want the behind the scenes because I want to see how they're going to set this up. There's so many considerations here that need to be taken into account. Like, are you going to have UPS systems in place? How many cameras are going to be running? Who's going to be switching the cameras? Are you going to do graphical overlays? Like, obviously, some of this is from my personal experience here, but also I work in production. These are all the thoughts that are run through my head. I want to see these people pull this off. If they can do this, this is challenging Critical Role for, an event. And hey, maybe it'll get them enough notoriety that maybe they can do a little crossover. That'd be great. This is insane. And I love it. It's the kind of insanity that I want more of. Let's play a game of D&D for a week straight. I can't even imagine what the story will be. And also, I want to know who's going to edit it afterwards, because no one's going to be able to watch the whole thing. So, and if every single minute is furthering the game, a week straight of content, that many hours, that's going to take months to parse as a viewer. Everything about this is amazing to me. I fully endorse this. Get in there, toss $5 to these guys, toss in 20, get some BTS. This is brilliant. I absolutely love it. So let's move on. So that was our second pick of the week, Roleplay Relay. All right. Now we're going to do Max Selects. And we have, first up in this category, these are my selects on Mac. Dead Ball. Now, I've worked in baseball, obviously not as a player, as doing video production. And it gave me an appreciation for baseball that I never had before. I actually started to like listening to the games on the app, which made it possible to do other things, because let's be honest, baseball is not a thrill a minute, but it is enjoyable. National pastime. We could get into a debate about how many games are actually necessary in a year and whatnot, but that's not what this is about. Reason I bring this up, why this is a select. One, the design, I didn't mean to bump you. This design is great. I actually backed this years ago, a previous edition at an owner box level, and because I'm absolutely horrendous at keeping up with my email, there was a reward tier. I think it let me build a team that would be in the game or something. But the thing is, I'm not into baseball like that. I actually got this because at the time I was working in video production for a baseball team, and I had a friend on our crew who knew everything about baseball, and we had to go down to spring training, and I wanted to bring this dice game along as a surprise to him, as something that we could do, when we were waiting for things to happen when we were on set. And so I backed at a top tier level because I wanted to give my buddy the ability to create a team, and I never did it because, like I said, I suck at the email. But I did try the game, and this Dead Ball has some incredible, really, it's down to the nitty gritty stats, but also bringing in all the randomness of trying to hit a ball, all the things that you're facing as a pitcher and a hitter. Man, it's impressive how well the game of baseball has been distilled down to a handful of dice. It's really, really cool. And in this one, he's gonna like take teams that people have created, and he's gonna do an entire season with like a backstory, and then give that back to you guys. It's fantastic. There's a bunch of tiers here that so you can just get the game. Here you go, $7, boom, PDF. I'm pretty sure he uses DriveThruRPG as well. Then for $12, you get the actual book. Oh no, you get a code to purchase a premium softcover. Then here you go. This is the everything 2nd edition core rulebook. But then we have I'm a Prospect. Name one of the budding stars of the Southern Circuit. So that's the league. The Southern Circuit is the one he's going to play an entire season with. And then you can get an autograph. And then the skipper is all gone, which is just like you can describe one of the managers of the Southern. That's neat. I like that. That's already like that was the one everybody jumped on. They wanted to be the manager. That's cool. I get that. It makes sense. Yeah, it's a neat. It's well made. If you're into baseball at all, this is a quality game, and I recommend it. It's funded, it's backed, it's ready to go, and I never had a problem getting my delivery from drive-thru. In fact, this week I downloaded the rules again to go through them that I had bought, that I had paid for, I'd backed 3 years ago. Still on drive-thru, waiting for me. It's a very smooth experience. Nicely done. So yeah, it's worth it. Next, we have Witchcraft, which is back on GameFound. Who knew? All right, so this game's unusual. Yeah, I'm having some mouse issues. If you could stand by for 2 seconds, I really am. So, Witchcraft is a solo game only. It's they made another game prior to this. Oh, I can't remember what it's called, but it was like similar in concept. Let's see, I got all these mice. I'm gonna steal the battery from the other one. So that this can work. And so here in Witchcraft, what you're doing is you're playing a coven of witches, and you are attempting to convince. And it was a battery. You're attempting to convince 3 jurors from your town that you guys are worth keeping around, that you're not truly evil, or if you are evil, you're at least a tolerable evil. So you do this by there's 3 missions. You go up against the mission. If you defeat the mission, you can then use it to influence the juror to whom it was directly related. So like each juror has missions, and when you play the game, you take the whoever the jurors are, you pull their missions out of the box, and it's like Act 1, 2, and 3, and you shuffle them up, and then you lay out the Act 1, and then so what you can do is if you beat the mission, you can either influence that juror to whom it pertained by 2 points, or you can influence another juror by 1 point. At the end of the game, you essentially win if you get 2 out of the 3, but it's like not the best win, but you still win. Now, let's scroll down here. First of all, the art is fantastic. This right here, this box cover with Pumpkinhead, I love it. It has a very minimalist Mike Mignola, or Mignola. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to say that. I love him, though. He's fantastic. It has that like 3-color kind of vibe that he's really good at, because everything's just hard lines, shadows, and color, right? It's a great look. So you accomplish these tasks. You want to beat the mission, but every mission has challenges, and those challenges are random. And some of the challenges are beneficial in that if you beat it, you get something. Some of them are beneficial in that it'll allow you to do something. Some are beneficial in that it's actually a familiar that you can then put on your table on your side, or I mean, it's a solo game. You can put it in front of you, and it has an ongoing effect. Or it's something that you have to deal with that's difficult, or maybe it's something that you can ignore and just take some kind of repercussion for not dealing with it. Anyway, those challenges, there's a certain number. Every mission has a number that is determined by the mission itself of those challenges. The challenges are drawn randomly from a deck. And so when you go in to take on them, when you decide which mission you're going to take, you flip over all the challenges, and then you have a hand of witches. And every witch has two sides, hidden or revealed. And if you play them as hidden, then you add their power to your total, put them in your discard. If you use the revealed side, they typically have greater abilities or more power, but then they go to jail because they've been revealed as a witch. And now they're out of your deck. And so, okay, there's a thing about not having enough witches in your deck, but we'll get into that in a second. So this is basically the essence of the struggle. Some cards will let you draw new witches out of the set. So when you play the game, you draw like 20 some witches, and then you pick 12. That becomes, I think it's 12. That becomes your deck, and then the other 12 become your reserves. And then some of the cards in the challenges will allow you to, or as rewards for the things, will let you draw another witch to add to this. So here's like a mission. So this had 4 challenges. You need 5 power to beat it. And this will let you persuade 2 points for the judge, 1 for the judge of this, 1 for any other. Then if you succeed, draw 1 extra card from the Coven deck during the recover phase. So you get a slightly larger hand this round, which is very helpful. And then these are some challenges that you can run up against. So if you choose not to take this on, then you gain a curse, right? And if you choose not to take this one on, then you lose a random hidden witch, and that's a witch in your hand that you have that is not hidden. Or maybe when you play it on the table, you choose if it's hidden or revealed, and that's going to take one of them away randomly. That sucks. Anyway, it's everything I see about this looks very difficult, and that is not just because that there isn't a lot of power available in the cards in order to defeat all of these challenges that you see below, the challenges can be up to, I don't even know. I saw one that had 4 is the most I've seen on one of the missions from what I saw, but that may not be the limit. That's a lot of challenges to overcome with, power levels on top of the power that you're gonna get negative effects. It's just going to happen. And that's what this game is. It's very Arkham-like in that you are inevitably going to have bad things happen. And one of the worst things is these curses because, so there are I'll be honest, this is a cool game. There are possibly too many losing conditions. Like if you draw all curses in your hand, you lose. Right, so you really want to get rid of them. But I don't even know that there's a way to fully get rid of curses. I didn't see anything that said take a curse out of your deck. I only ever saw discard, which means just going into your discard pile and piling up with more curses that happen, which, several, obviously, you lose if you run out of witches, just period. Like if they all go to jail, or, they get taken away by the wild boar. If you fail 2 missions, you're out. If you don't convince at least 2 jurors, you're out. Like, it's a lot of losing conditions. There's more ways to lose this game than win, basically. But, that's part of the thing, right? This is a solo game that's meant to be tough, And that's where my issue comes up. That I think this game's fantastic, but I really like it. I think I would love it if it were an app. if I could play it on my tablet or my phone, I think it'd be better, because this whole setup of all the different jurors that you got to pick, and then you got to get their missions, and you got to get all these challenge cards, and you got to pick all the witches that you want to do, and then the witches have different, they're from different families, so you got to pick that, and you got to make sure you get those families, and then the curse deck and all this. That's a lot of setup to do for a very likely loss, and I doubt I'm gonna be too thrilled to set this thing up a third time if I lose. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's like, because I think that the game moves really quick once you start. Once you know how to play, you can tell. It's just, hey, here's what I drew. What am I going to do? Which one am I going after? And then you just solve that little puzzle of how much power do I have in my hand? How many things can I handle? And do I get it? Okay, good. Now deal with all the blowback from whatever happened. You just do that. There's only three acts of missions. So, there's a time limit here. So yeah, I just think it would be it'd be top tier app. It's a lot of setup for a solo board game. But hey, if you're up for a challenge, this thing really scratches that itch. I gotta be honest. Yeah. So that's Witchcraft. Next up, we have, we don't have a game. We have an accessory that's also on GameFound. Woo! So, okay. I'm going to keep this real simple. This is a transportable game table. It comes in, I think, 3 different sizes, maybe 4. It's incredible what it is offering. So you take this case, and it has everything you see there. So in the side, there's that opens out. All the little accessories are in there, and then the top, that red, those are mats that you actually that roll up so you can clean them. All of these little accessories, like the cup holders, they have, like, this cup holder has a little bottom on it, and these 4 pegs are holding like a kind of a woven rope, but it's not a rope, it's more flat. My vocabulary is shot today, sorry, but it's supporting a piece below so that you can, like, put a bottle in or a glass down inside, so it doesn't fall all the way through, but it also doesn't sit real tall. And you got and so, like, this up here, this is for you to have cards stood vertically. Conceptually, this thing is, look at that. Absolutely incredible. There's two caveats that I have. One, the price. As you can see right there, that's the starting small size. Okay. When you get into a full kit with all the accessories, with a big table, you're looking at $10,000. Okay, so this is well out of the market for most people. And the slot on the side where you hang the metal slot where you hang all the little the trays and so forth, I doubt that could withstand you leaning on it. So this is meant for you to be very careful. I think I could be wrong, but that's just an aluminum runner. So I think if you were to put too much weight on one of these trays, it's just going to snap. But again, you just know that when you're using it, right? It's not an armrest. It's where you put your cards and you put your dice and, like, you know what I mean? You don't need to, press down on that to stand up, right? Come on. But here's the use case for this that I see. I think any creator that wants to do on-site gaming or go to locations to, or somebody who wants to demonstrate board games, people who review board games and want to like go to locations where they may not know what the setup is, they want to go to conventions, I think this is incredible. It packs up into a suitcase. It'll slide into anything. This would be incredibly useful for people like that. And I just really hope that these guys like tried to go after that market, because content creators that are doing well, this would work for them. And these guys only need, I think, like 100 people to maybe 135 people. They need to sell 135 of just the base. So if they got like one of the big whales, 50 of them, they're good to go. Anyway, this is it's such a unique thing. I wanted to mention it. It's so unusual, but there is a use case for certain people that I think matters. It's not for me. I could not possibly afford this, but it's kind of cool. All right, next up, we have Battles of Valerna. And now we are back to the games, and we're on Kickstarter. So really the hook here is there's a game under this, but it comes with 250 STLs that you can print to play the game. Or you can use your own, I'm sure. If you're a miniatures enthusiast, you probably have enough to play this anyway. I have no idea what this game is about. How it works, nothing. It seems to be a skirmish style miniature game. Great. It's not my thing, but 250 STLs, and they look good. Let's look at some of these things. This guy, these guys. Let's get to a dragon. They show off some dragons. There you go. Look at this beast. So these are incredible, but these are 3D models. I don't know how well they print out. I'm assuming if they've sculpted 250 of them, somebody had to print some up at some point. Terrain, that looks awesome. I love that. But yeah, that's what this is. There's an underlying game. I know that. But really, you're coughing up for the miniatures, right? Let's see, what is it? Yeah. $5. Does that include those? PDF card tokens to represent 3D printable. Wait, maybe it's up here. Is this it? There it is. 4 3D printable armies, 2 3D printable armies, 1 3D. Okay, so like the big, all the minis, 110. That's not cheap, but so how many armies are there? 4, 5. Then a mercenaries and monsters. So $110, you get quite a bit of content, but it's really only worth it to you if you can print these, or can find a way to, or can send them out to be printed, which is going to cost. But hey, if you already have a bunch of miniatures, you can just get this $5 dealie here, and you get the rulebook, scenario pack, and some dice, STLs. I don't know if you'd want to print your own dice, unless there's like really special dice here. Maybe they have like some very unique sides to them that matter to the game. I don't know, but look at that. It's gorgeous. All right, next we have I Feel Attacked, which is a goofy, fun little game in the vein of Cards Against Humanity. The fun twist here is you basically get to dish on anyone who isn't like you. It's probably going to hurt some feelings, but as I said, I'm an agent of chaos, so I'm on board. I think this is a neat idea. So the way it works is everybody, so you pick the judge so it's like you start with, don't you hate people who, or it's people who. So everybody gets 6 cards. Then you flip the top card and pick the person that card describes. So everybody picks whoever seems the most like that, and now they're the judge. And then they take a card from their hand, And then everybody else. So this example is people who use beard oil, right? And so then everybody else is going to put in a card that says people who use beard oil are also people who, and then so this one is like, think real music is only on vinyl, right? Or then vape, right? So then the judge just decides which one of those binary situations works the best, right? And then that person wins that point, and you go around. It's Cards Against Humanity, just with less discussion of bodily fluids. But it seems kind of fun. Also, you're going to definitely come across descriptions in here that people at the table are going to feel represent them. And then when you add the second thing saying it's like that, that's definitely that's where the I feel attacked comes in. I think it's funny. It would be a fun drinking game. And it's got one pledge level. $29. That's it. That's not hard. Yeah. So let's move on. Next one is Character Coins 2.0. And once again, it's an accessory. Sorry. Sometimes I just, sometimes there's weeks. But here's the thing. I love this idea. I don't know that I necessarily need this particular campaign, but this campaign has now changed my mind. For no longer are acrylic standees my go-to. I want character coins for everything. From now on, give me a coin. I want a coin. That was one of the greatest things about chip theory games, the Too Many Bones, and actually I think all their games. You had like thick, heavy poker chips that represented your characters. It would have been nice if they were ceramic, but but a big honking metal coin. It doesn't even have to be big. Just as a metal coin that has an image of characters and villains. Oh, I would love it. There's nothing better than just like having a little leather bag filled with a bunch of fake coins. I don't know what that is. I love that feeling. Yeah. So, I honestly, I didn't even look into it beyond this right here. This is as far as I got. I was like, oh, look at all these great. Oh, I want this for my games. So let's see here. For you to get a coin set of any one unlocked set. I don't even know what a set is, but it's $23. 36 for 2, 55 for 3. I don't know what a set. What is a set? Is that? No, those are stretch goals. Add-ons or minotaurs. Original class set. Well, that's a lot of. Yeah, look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 or so coins for $23. I feel like that's very fair. I like that beveled edge too. That's nice. Yeah, like look at this. Like, I think the only thing that could make it better is if there was some kind of painting, or they're made of different materials for certain, for bad guys or something. Just to really delineate that. What is that? What is that style when they actually just like melt, like a ceramic or a certain. Oh, I don't even know. See, my vocabulary is shot today. And it's not going to get better this week. I'm just going to be exhausted. I'm just warning you. Anyway, this was cool. That's all. It was cool. Next. Quest chest. Okay, this is really cool. I think this is a great idea for anybody into some D&D. So basically what this is it's a chest that has a mission, but it comes with all kinds of sensory items, right? So you got coins, you got letters with wax seals. They even have like candles that to evoke a certain feeling. I mean, Is it necessary? No. But I gotta believe that as like a special event for your game night, you bust out this chest and it's like it's a whole mission, all locked in there, and you just tailor it to what you're doing. This would be like a great evening for your, I don't know, what do you call it? Not your team, your group. There it is. Jeez, man, vocabulary, huh? This would be a great, one-off event. Now, they also offer you can get the entire pack over the course of a year, which would be neat. That'd be something to really look forward to. It's like, hey, every couple months we're going to do one big night with this mystery mission. That's cool. Got a bunch. I mean, it's got a bunch of stuff in it. And, see, there we go. The candles, coffee and tea, metal coins, tarot cards. Yeah, so, look at that. It really feels like you, stumbled upon some kind of mission in a castle somewhere, right? Some hidden letters that reveal some clues to the next thing. Seems great, right? I think it would be awesome. Next, we have Nano 9 Games Wave 2. I'll be honest with you, I don't even know if that's how you're supposed to say it. But it has a 9 in it, so that's what I'm going with. But hey, for this one, we have props. So let me go down here. Oh, yeah. So these 3 games, the 12 Patrols, Clin 9 Ick, I guess, and Asteroid Miners. So my understanding from what I went through, and I went through a lot on this one, is that clinic distills clinic. So this is where we have props. There you go. That there is my clinic set. And as you can see, here's the main box. Here's all this stuff was on Kickstarter. I backed this on Kickstarter. And I only have the extension, the second extension, and the third extension. Pretty sure they're up to the 6th extension. And so somehow they condensed that into this. Now the conceit of the we'll swap back out. The conceit of the Nano games is it's 9 cards, 9 dice, 9 cubes. That's it. That's the whole game. So how they took all of that and converted it is crazy. Now, there was a slight fudging with Clinic because the 9 cards, they're double-sided, so it's technically 18. But here's the thing. The 12 Patrols is a really interesting solo puzzler. And these are all technically solo. The Asteroid Miners you can play with more than one person. I'm not sure if you would want to. Apparently, I'm typing. So, I love the design restriction. I was a photographer for a while, and one of the things that was just understood that in that profession is that the less you had to work with, the more creative you became. So when you only had one light, you started making some really interesting choices. And I think the same thing is true of board games. So this restriction of 9, 9, and 9, I think brought out some really cool stuff. So the 12 Patrols is a great game where by the end of it, you're going to have all 9 cards out. But the thing is, each side has stipulations for the dice or cubes that can be next to it or in that row, right? And also in that column. So if you have 9 out, right, that means that there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, between every card, right? I'm sorry, I'm doing this. So in a row, there's 2 spaces. So if you have your 3 cards, the rightmost side of this card will say there can only be a total total number of dice equaling at most 6, or it has to equal exactly 6. So then the next 2 spaces you need to put dice that equal that, and you roll the dice before you start the game. And then but then the next card down could say that the dice next to it, or whatever's next to it, has to be of a single color. So then you got to make sure that that's true. But then when you start adding in all the vertical and then the other cross-pollination, it digs deep into your little reserve of 9 cubes and 9 dice, and it makes it a very difficult puzzle. My only issue with it is that once you've played it like 2 or 3 times, you're going to know all of the sides of the cards. So you're going to kind of have like a strategy for laying the cards out. Because the way the game plays, you lay 1 card at a time, and its physical position matters because you can eliminate some of the sides by putting it in a corner if you don't want to deal with those. So you'll develop a strategy pretty quickly, which I think kind of shortens the lifespan of the game. However, in this Kickstarter, they have there's additional 3 cards that they've added to the game, so that's going to give it some longevity, particularly because you could rotate them in now, right? So that adds a bit of randomness to it, which I think will keep the game alive much longer. The Clinic and the Asteroid Miner. Asteroid Miner had 15 pages of rules, and they were not a joy to read. Honestly, it looked like bad IKEA instructions, and I got through 6 pages, and it was just a slog for me. I was just like, okay, I can't do it. Instead I watched a video of someone else playing it, and it was Rado, and he liked it. He had, a couple of considerations, but overall it looked fun. It's a dice placement game, and I like those. It was well done. But I did not even bother with the Clinic thing. It was 30 pages of rules for a game with 27 pieces. Now, that, on the one hand, that sounds amazing. That means this is an unbelievably layered and complex game. But that's a lot of work for me to do for this. And we're already at like 20-some games in this, and I was like, I'm sorry, but Clinic just had to take the fall on this one. I recommend you watch Rado's video. I think it's even down here. Yeah, see? Here we go. There's a perfect example. So you can only have max of 2 characters to the right of this, and this needs there to be a 6 to the left. Boom. So there's a 6 to the left, it's fine. And this has 2, and then this just needs there to be 1 color over here. So there you go. But then you have to worry about all of these, and how these go across, and then how they go up. Yeah, so it's a really intricate little puzzler. It's great. Should have just scrolled down to that instead of using my hands, right? Jeez. But yeah, so here you go. Here's the example. Clinic, that's all the stuff that's just in the Clinic base game, not the extensions. And now this is their version. So yeah, Rado did a preview. I recommend you watch it. It's like 25 minutes though. So, just be prepared to pay attention. Hey, look, Clinic's a great game. So if they found a way to distill it, I'm sure it's awesome. I just couldn't do it. I think it was actually like 34 total pages, and Max got to get some sleep. All right, so next one. Oh, by the way, this is wave 2. Okay, so in this Kickstarter, you can back individual games from this wave. You can get all 3, or you can get everything from the previous wave as well as this one. And I will say the 3 games from the previous wave, the people who are setting this up, I don't know what the previous games were. I wonder if they show it to you. They'd have to, right? As an add-on. There we go. Railways, City Planner, and Empire. So, the people who designed this, who came up with this nano games, they found a way to take all 3 of the previous games and combine them into one super game. That's amazing. Okay, and the only way to get that is with this 89 level. You get level 1, 2, which means you get 6 games plus the expansions for this, which give you more options for 12 patrols, which is good, and the super game. That's Empire Planners that combine. Like, so that's awesome. Like that. I mean, $90 is not cheap, but you're getting like 7 games, so it's not a bad deal. But hey, if you just want to try this wave, you can. It's a neat idea. Conceptually, I like the restriction on existing designers. It's really cool. Okay, so moving into the last leg, super funded. Which our first one is AEG Expansion Extravaganza. Now I'm going to be honest with you. Typically the super fundeds is where I can kind of dish and, make some complaints. Just complaints about gaming in general. While the super funded game is often the example being used, I'm not talking about just them. I'm referring to using that as an example of a larger issue. But I gotta tell you, I got nothing bad to say about this AG Expansion Extravaganza. So you can either buy an expansion for an exist. So if you already own Tiny Towns, you can get this expansion for $19. But if you don't have the expansion, then you can get them both right here. Or you can just get the expansions, or you can get everything. I think they have a breakdown. So here you go. So you can get the original Tiny Towns for $29, 1, 2, or of the previous expansions, or the 4 new expansions that are just happening now, right? So if you wanted, you can get everything, which is going to be all of this. Let's see, can I do it? No, I can't. I stopped at 156. And 156, 232, no, 242, 310. Wow. So $310? Am I right? No. What? Is that right? Oh, 4. Hey, I was right. 310. Look at that. Woohoo! But holy crap. Instead of the 310, you can get it all for... Okay, I didn't even realize that because I didn't bother to do the math. But hey, man, I was right. In my head, I did that. And I'm exhausted. It's not that impressive. But so you can get whatever you want here. This is what's amazing to me. It's like, hey, pick and choose, whatever. But also, you can just get a straight line down everything for a game. And I gotta be honest, Tiny Towns is one that I would do that for. I do like Space Base. I don't love War Chest. It's a neat design, but it's just not for me. But I just love this conceptually. You got all this stuff. Wow. Or you can just get the expansions for $69 if that's if you already have them. Yeah, this is a really cool idea, and they give you some breakdowns. I'm a sucker for anything in space. I got to be honest. I love the chip tokens thing with War Chest. I just don't really care for the gameplay. It's just not for me. That's all. Tiny Towns I think is great. And I've never played Cubitos. Cabados? I don't know. I've never played that. I've seen it played, and it looked interesting, and I gotta tell you, I really like just a buttload of colored dice, that accomplish a task. That sounds interesting. Yeah. Nothing bad to say. If you're into it, there's something over here, there's something for you in this pick and choose whatever you want. Look at it, a la carte. There you go. Boom. If you have even a slight interest, you should probably check this out. All right. Next up, we have a triangle agency, which is an actual game. And it's an RPG. It's a tabletop RPG. I don't really have a lot to say here. People seem to like it. I love the art. I'm going to say that my opinion of it is this could not be a clearer ripoff of the video game Control. It is so on the nose that I'm surprised there isn't litigation involved. If you don't know, the video game Control was about this nebulous, bureaucratic building that didn't quite exist in our own space-time, and everybody went in sort of like X-Files. You went in to work, but the building, the interior, like it was an alternate reality, so like all the offices could potentially move. There were signs on the walls everywhere warning you to, don't leave things on your desk. Try to remember the way you got to where you are. Don't leave anything important behind. And there was like a janitor in the place who was like the secret caretaker that, handled some dark issues with the place. And then the overarching purpose of the organization in Control was to find these artifacts that had become focal points for reality-altering events. But you could also use those artifacts to focus those events into a weapon, right? So like one would allow you to skip forward, a distance, and then you had like a special weapon that could physically alter its shape to become, the standard machine gun, sniper rifle, shotgun. But then you got powers like, flying, stopping time, ripping up pieces of the landscape and throwing it. But it was, story-wise, it was fascinating. And everything that I loved about that game is here. So I guess if you wanted to play Control on the tabletop, then this is the way to do it. And I gotta say, as a universe in which I would want to mess around, this is a pretty solid one. And I mean, it literally is just that. And also here, look at this. Stabilized reality. Control yourself. Okay, remind me later. I just typed on my other computer. Because I'm a genius. Oh, look at that. Okay. So, Control. There it is. What do you think? Control, and then Control. You think got looks like a redheaded woman running it? What do you think? Anyway, I do love that it's this red triangle thing, because these dice that you use in it, this is fantastic. So you get these 4-sided dice, and apparently triple threes are like something in the game that's significant. So if you actually roll triple threes, I think you can either lock in a certain reality or you can alter the existing reality, which basically it kind of gives me the idea that it's sort of like Forged in the Dark, where you can just suddenly describe that everything's perceived a different way, right? Like, so like Forged in the Dark lets you tell stories in like a cutscene to something that happened previously. They use that in Blades in the Dark, where you can solve a current problem by referring to a memory of something that happened previously. Like, oh, well, I put, sort of like in Bill and Ted 2. Was it 2? No, even in 1 they did it, where it's like they're like, hey, I got to remember to take my dad's keys and put them right here. And then, hey, there they are, right? So you can kind of do that in Blades in the Dark. And I feel like that's kind of the system here, where it's like, if things aren't going your way and you happen to roll triple threes, you can just create a reality where the outcome works for you. And that's actually pretty cool. Beyond that, I don't really know. I mean, I read some of this, and it basically was just confirming that it's, oh, look, hey, he's a caretaker. The janitor downstairs is the caretaker. Yeah. Look, I think it's a great world to play in, so I'm happy that this exists, but I'm honestly surprised that, or you know what, or maybe it's from the people who designed Control. I don't know. I don't even know who made the video game Control. They made Alan Wake, which is, I'm gonna go off the rails. Anyway, there we go. The second super fund is Triangle Agency. It's doing just fine, but if you like that, hey, jump in it. And so, yeah, that's it for this week. There's going to be, like I said, I'm going to cut out some of the segments to make them regular videos and give them some timestamps. So if you don't want to sit through all this, you can jump into that. And there will be another live stream this week, because everything that I covered today was about all of the releases last week. So, not tomorrow, but Thursday, there will be another live stream. All right. Thanks for stopping by. Hope I gave you some good info. And please back some of our Funderdogs or the picks of the week. We'll talk to you soon. And I can't end the stream because I was using the wrong mouse. See? I need to color code them. All right. Later.